clean sweep. I combed your clothes out of the closets. I swept your sawdust out of the garage. I oiled your car off the driveway. I smelled your smell out of the shed. I grew you out of the garden while airing your scent out of the air. I whispered your words out of all the phones. Let's talk about spinning stories and using words to rebel. I used that poem to sweep away words that were always in my head. And you know, even when I get on my soapbox about kids and what they need from us, it's all about this idea of how are we going to spin a story. You know, a poem lets us spin it a certain way, as all words do. It's about what choice of words we use, how we interpret it all, and what we do with those words and how we act on those words. And I'm just thinking about how important it is, because even deciding how we are going to present history to our kids is a way of how we're going to spin things. It doesn't mean there aren't facts, but our human interpretations get in the way of everything, or we might say are the crux of everything. And there's a real war on words right now. Well, I already mentioned history and how we're going to tell it, or if we're going to tell it. Maybe we're going to deny some words. Maybe we're going to pick some words that haven't been heard before and need to. There's many possibilities. Even as I watched the Republican and Democratic conventions, I saw, and I was watching really carefully for what words were chosen and how they were presented. And so interesting how that happened. Because as the Democrats chose not to use prime time to air a lot of their most important words, Republicans were very deliberate about how they did that, with some amount of power, I might say. But what are the words that we're choosing, and how are we interpreting them, and what are we doing with them? That's what really matters, and that's our opportunity to take a stand and to say what we really mean. How someone else interprets it, we may not have control over. Of course we don't. But we do really need words. We need more words out there to tip the scales towards the things that we deserve to hear, that we need to hear, and towards the things that we really need to be able to say and have be heard. So on behalf of words and using them to perhaps clear out your own mind so that you can have your own thoughts clearly and craft your words to say what really needs to be said in this time and in this moment, poetry can be a big help for that, as can all kinds of writing, because it allows us to, or it encourages, or it forces us to read them, reread them, look back at them, revise them, and perfect them as best we can in a moment to say what really needs to be said. So, enough said about that for now. To be continued. Thanks.